Hi, my name is Kira, and I'm a recovering people pleaser. But enough about me. What do you need? How are you? What's going on? How can I make your day easier? Hello, listeners. It's your host, Kira Wackett, back with another solo episode. You may have noticed this episode is coming out on a Thursday instead of a Sunday. I know, a little bit different. I've decided it's better to space out the awesomeness throughout the week, so solo episodes are now going to be coming out every other Thursday instead of bundled in with our Sunday episodes. So you can always count on those guest episodes, those wonderful insights and connections with brand new people that you're meeting probably for the first time on Sundays. And then every other Thursday, you're going to get one of these solo episodes from me. Okay, on to today's episode. Today, we're talking about people pleasing, human giving, losing yourself and becoming everything for everyone else. So let's get real about it. I've always done it, or at least had the propensity to do it. It almost feels like a compulsion. I have to take care of everyone else, and it must be my fault when something goes wrong. But what leads us to take on this burden of responsibility, losing ourselves in the drive to be accepted and belong? And why do I always feel more anxious and alone when I do it? Well, I'm going to give you one time. Can you guess the culprit? Can you guess what's leading us to do this? Come on. Yes, shame, or the threat to human connection and belonging. Now, shame, if you're just joining us for the first time ever or you need a refresher, is the constant and pervasive fear of connection and belonging. It operates under the assumption that we're inherently not good enough, and the only way to belong is to make sure no one sees these deficits in our true selves. As such, it does what it can to migrate the threat by forcing us to adapt our behaviors and interpersonal relationships. And its best line of defense? People pleasing. But what's the hope? The idea is that if I can be of service to others, they'll need me. If they need me, I'll have a guaranteed connection, thus eliminating the fear of becoming obsolete. But over time, this has a pretty significant negative impact. See, we fill every mental, emotional, and spiritual void with others' burdens. We devote all of our time to the service of other people, and when we're not actively engaged in taking care of others, we do our best to anticipate the needs. In this, we often open up the door to allow others' repressed emotions, shame, and worry into our lives, only exacerbating the negativity we hold within ourselves. But here's the thing. For some time, this will work. We can take on the role of selective inferiority to all others, serving and anticipating their every need, and we will, in some ways, feel more connected, more valuable. But at what cost? For me, it was the cost of my voice and my confidence. I lost my ability to stand up for myself and assert my needs. I became passive in the hopes of being wanted and liked. And by only giving my energy to those around me, never replenishing or recharging it by taking care of my own needs and wants, I found myself mentally, emotionally, and physically unwell. My energy reserves were depleted, the number of masks I wore infinite, and the feeling of genuine connection was absent. I felt more alone than ever before. I was hopeless and honestly bordering on suicidal. And that's the power of shame. Shame's false promises distract you with the false hope while stealing your authenticity, leaving you feeling resentful, fatigued, and hopeless. And from there, you've got a one-way ticket to resentment, isolation, anger, and fear, all of which work to keep you even more disconnected from the world around you. So what's the answer? No, I'm not suggesting we stop showing up for each other or leading with empathy and compassion for others, or even that we stop giving energy to or caring about what other people think. It isn't about moving from giving all of ourselves to none of ourselves to anyone. It's about creating greater clarity on the why that drives us in our actions to please others. It's about generating insight and having the ability to challenge the notion that we must be universally liked and useful to be of worth and value. We can show compassion and support without losing ourselves. And better yet, we can also show up for ourselves, working to build greater connections within ourselves and with others. So ask yourself, what's the why that drives you to take on the burdens of other people, casting your own needs and pain on the wayside? How do you find shame and fear to be motivating your behavior? Where did it come from? Early experiences, others' expectations? What was it for you? And how might you better be able to show up for others in adaptive versus maladaptive or unhelpful reasons? So for example, I give my time to others after considering my own needs is an adaptive response versus I feel obligated to be there for people whenever they need it without ever considering my own needs or self-care. Maladaptive. And then finally, ask yourself, okay, if this is where I'm at right now, what's a small 1% change that I can make today to start to make that shift? To shift away from that shame-based people-pleasing, that maladaptive, that loss of self, that fear-driven response to an adaptive response that takes myself and other people into account. Now, before you go, I would love to hear from you about everything and anything that comes up. So be sure to check out the Q&A, fill out the poll, or send me a voice memo so we can connect and I can support you in this work. If you found today's episode valuable and insightful, I encourage you to leave a review or hit that 5-star button. And of course, share this episode with someone you think could benefit from hearing it. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And remember, change, but every step counts. So stay the course, stay hopeful, and stay committed to your well-being. We'll be back with more insightful discussions to support you on your journey. Until then, take care, and we'll catch you next time.